They came from the stars, strong, cold, and fearless. They stood over what was left of Earth, laughing at the stories humans once told gods, heroes, monsters, and magic. To them, it was all nonsense. But one warrior wasn't laughing. His name was Korak, a hero, a fighter. But inside, he was hiding fear no one could see. He had seen something long ago, something buried deep in an ancient alien ruin, something that changed everything. The myths weren't fake, not all of them, and if his people ever found out what he knew, the others talked about how easy it was to defeat humans, how weak they were. They made jokes about human legends, with his hammer, Hanuman with his strength, Hercules with his power. But Korak stayed quiet because he knew those stories were warnings. And now, standing on the broken earth, he felt it again, the same fear from years ago. Something was still here, something older than them all, and it was waking up. Korak remembered the day he found the ruin. Deep under the ice on a dead planet, his team had uncovered something no one expected, an ancient chamber covered in strange symbols. The others thought it was just old tech. But Korak felt something else, a presence, a voice, not loud, but deep inside his mind. It whispered one thing: "We are still here." He ran from that place and never told anyone what he heard. But now, standing on Earth, he felt it again. Back on the alien warship, another soldier noticed silence. "Why so quiet, hero?" he asked. "You look like you've seen a ghost." Korak didn't answer, because for the first time in his life, he wasn't sure who the real enemy was. Was it the humans, or something far older, watching them all along? Suddenly, an alarm blared. Something was moving beneath the ruins, not human, not alien, and it was waking up. The ground cracked open. Dust and fire shot into the sky. The alien soldiers aimed their weapons, laughing, thinking it was a trap or some old machine. But Korak knew better. From the darkness below, something rose, tall, silent, not human, not alien either. It had no face, just a glowing symbol. Eyes should be its body. Looked like stone and metal fused together. It didn't speak with words. It spoke inside their minds. "You do not belong here." The laughter stopped. Fear spread like cold wind. Korak stepped forward. His voice was low, shaking. "This is what the myths warned about," he said. "This is not one of us." One soldier shouted, "What are you talking about? Who is this thing?" Korak looked at the creature. "I don't know who it is." He paused. "I know what it is." Silence. Then the creature raised its hand, and time stood still. Time stopped. The alien soldiers stood frozen mid-step, mid-word. Only Korak could move. The creature looked at him, not with eyes, with presence. It stepped closer, silent and huge. "You were not meant to come here," it said inside his mind. "But you remember." Korak's breath shook. He didn't want to remember, but the memories came like fire. He saw flashy old symbols, buried ruins, voices whispering in dead languages. The myths humans told, they weren't about gods or heroes, they were warnings. The creature raised its hand again. A single image, burned into Korak's Minda planet, just like Earth. And then, destruction. He gasped. "That was your world, wasn't it?" The creature did not answer, but Korak understood. They had done this before, and now they were doing it again. Time returned. The soldiers blinked, confused. One shouted, "What just happened?" Korak looked at them, at the creature, at the broken earth. Then he whispered, "We're not the first." Korak's words hung in the air like smoke. "We're not the first." The soldiers looked at him, like he was crazy. One laughed. "What are you talking about? Of course we're the first. No one else could have beaten the humans." But Korak kept staring at the creature. He knew what he saw in his mind. A world like theirs, destroyed. Just like Earth. Another soldier stepped forward, weapon raised. "If this thing thinks it can scare us, it's wrong." He fired. The blast hit the creature like a storm, but it didn't move, didn't flinch. It just turned its empty gaze on the shooter. Then, with a voice that shook the sky, "You do not learn. You do not change." The soldier screamed as his body froze, then fell to dust in seconds. Silence. Silence. Pure fear filled the air. Korak took a step back. This wasn't just a being, it was a judge, and now it had made its decision. Trial begins. The word echoed like Thunder. Trial begins. The alien soldiers looked around, confused and scared. The ground beneath them shook. Strange lights rose from the ruins' glowing symbols. Ancient and powerful. Korak knew what this was. A memory, not his own, burned. Into his mind, he saw a vision. A different world. A different time. Another race like his standing where they stood, now arrogant, conquering, laughing. Then came the trial. And then, silence. He gasped as the vision ended. He wasn't just remembering, he was being shown. The creature raised both hands. From the sky, something dropped. Not a weapon, but a mirror. Not glass, but light. It landed in front of them and turned on. Suddenly, the soldiers saw themselves, but not how they were, how they had been, fighting, destroying, lying. One shouted, "This is fake. This isn't us." But Korak whispered, "It is us." The trial wasn't about strength, it was about truth, and soon every alien would have to face it. The mirror of light showed more. It didn't just show battles and victories, it showed lies. One by one, the alien soldiers watched scenes from their past planets they had taken, people they had crushed, voices they had silenced. But now, for the first time, they saw it all. From the other side, a young soldier screamed, "No, that's not how it happened." But deep down, he knew it was true. Korak stood still. He wasn't surprised. He had always known something was wrong. Now, the trial made it real. The creature spoke again. "You took, you lied, you called it fate. Now you will see." Suddenly, the mirror changed. It showed a new image of planet not yet destroyed. A world still alive, their home. And then came the question, will you repeat the cycle? Silence fell like snow. Korak looked at his people. Some were crying, some were shaking. All were afraid. Then he stepped forward and said, "Not this time." Korak's voice was low but strong. Not this time. The creature did not move, but the mirror changed again. This time, it showed a choice. One side, war, fire, death, the same path they had always taken. The other side, peace, fear, uncertainty, a chance to change. The soldiers looked at each other. For the first time, they were not sure what to do then. The creature spoke, "You have seen your truth. Now will you carry it?" A high-ranking soldier stepped forward. His face was angry, proud. "We are warriors. We do not beg for mercy." He turned to the others. "This trial is a trick. We should destroy this thing." But Korak stood in front of him. "No," he said. "We've destroyed too much already." The two aliens stared at each other. Tension rose like fire. Then sky shook. That the trial wasn't over. Something else was coming, and it was far worse than any war they had ever fought. The sky cracked open, not with fire, not with ships, but with sound. A deep, ancient voice that echoed through the bones of every alien standing there. "You have seen your past. Now you must face what you have woken." From the broken earth, shadows began to rise. Not like the creature, but worse. Twisted forms, half alive, half machine, eyes glowing with lost rage. They moved slowly, but powerfully. Breath caught. He had read about these things in old, forbidden records. They were called the Forgotten. Once they had been a great race like humans, like his people, but they failed the trial, and instead of being destroyed, they were changed. One soldier shouted, "What are these things?" Korak didn't answer. He COULDN. "Korak, will you stop it?" He looked at his people, at the rising darkness, at the ruins of Earth, and for the first time in his life, he didn't know if he could win. Korak stood between two futures, behind him his people, proud, broken, afraid, before him the forgotten, angry shadows of a lost race, waiting, watching, and above them all, the silent creature, the judge, the witness. "Choose," it said, "fight or change." Korak looked at his fellow soldiers. Some still wanted to fight, some were too scared to move. He knew that if they attacked, it would be war again, and this time there would be no winning. He took a deep breath. Then he did the unthinkable. He dropped his weapon. Silence fell like snow. One soldier shouted, "What are you doing?" Korak looked up at the creature and spoke. "We don't want war anymore. We want the truth." The ground shook. The sky burned. The forgotten stopped moving. Then came the final test. Truth must be earned. Suddenly, Light exploded from the ruins. It surrounded Korak. His body burned with pain. His mind filled with memories, not his own. When the light faded, he was different. Not just a warrior, not just a hero. Now, he was a witness, and he had one last mission to return home and tell the galaxy everything.